Victorian footballer Ricky Stevens is currently in a coma after taking a party drug during an end-of-year footy trip.
Well, it's unknown what drug the boys took exactly. Some believe it is either a new designer drug or the synthetic stimulant Flakka. Flakka, or gravel as it's sometimes known, first came into headlines last year when it popped up in Florida. The drug causes intense feelings of euphoria like MDMA, but in some cases leads to paranoia and aggressive behaviour. It's of the same order as the now notorious bath salts, the drug that apparently makes you a cannibal. Ricky, sadly, isn't the only person to be hospitalised. 16 others have either overdosed or experienced extreme psychological effects in the last 2 days.
And joining us from Canberra is emergency doctor and the Feeds resident drug expert, Dr. David Caldecott. Now, David, there's a lot of speculation about what drug was actually responsible for the spate of hospitalisations. What do you think it is?
Well, I think it's a little early to call it. There's been a widespread speculation that it's a rather dated drug now called Flakka. Alpha PVP is the sort of formal name of it. That's been around a while now, so it wouldn't be anything novel if it was. But I can think of at least 4 other drugs that need to be ruled out. What's important is that there is a drug out there that doesn't obviously seem to have an identity yet, and we should get onto it fairly quickly.
It feels like every year or so there's a new synthetic drug on the market, and they often come with just real horror stories attached. What is it about synthetic drugs that's so dangerous?
Well, I think there's a combination of things going on here. There's obviously an element of the moral panic. You know, tabloids sell newspapers on drug panics, and so I think they're always looking for something new. However, the rate of turnover of these novel products is in fact really what's dangerous. It's not so much the drugs themselves, it's the market that's the biggest hazard to health. So we really can't keep up with the way that they're turning over.
To be fair, though, it's not just newspapers that love a good, scary drug story. We also quite a big fan of them as well. We are moving into the summer festival season. We've also got schoolies, and typically speaking, drug usage tends to be on the rise at that time of year. Yeah. What's your advice to keep partygoers safe in the next couple of months?
Well, look, if you want to be 100% certain about not getting hurt with a drug, you probably shouldn't eat a drug. There's no way that you can stay completely safe if you're going to experiment with drugs, the identity of which you don't know. I think there are some very good messages which come out of Europe, say go slow and go low. And take a quarter and don't forget the water, I think are probably 2 strong messages. The potency of these drugs is phenomenal and far different to the ones that we're used to dealing with. This will be a very hazardous summer indeed for those people who choose to consume drugs.
Pill testing is quite controversial in Australia. You know, the government opposes it, doesn't want it. Do you think we should have pill testing in Australia?
Of course, it's obvious. There are now no health professionals that don't think that this is a good idea. There are none left. They've all left the country. And this is purely a political problem. I've just returned from Vienna with a meeting at the United Nations Office of Drug Control. And even them, they're one of the most conservative organisations in the world as far as drugs are concerned. Even now, they believe that young people should be able to test their drugs at the point of consumption. This is just something we have to do. It's the only way we're going to stay on top of this market.
Until that comes into force, there are pill testing kits that exist out there online. Do you think people should be trying those out? Are there dangers around that?
Yeah, look, I'm equivocal about them. I applaud people who want to stay safe, who are trying to do the right thing. My concern is that perhaps they aren't using them with the sort of information and backup which could be useful to them. Certainly those tests themselves are nowhere near good enough to identify any of the novel psychotropic substances that come on the market. There are people who are selling them and mean well. It would be far preferable to actually do the job not half-cocked but properly with laboratory equipment on site and indeed off-site for in situ testing as well. That would be much more preferable.
Dr. David Caldecott, thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime.